The bridge of the Earth's warship crackled with tension. Commander Drake, a young officer, gasped, "The signal. It's Alara. She's alive, but she's been discovered." "Orders, sir?" Commander Ethan Drake stood at the helm of Earth's secret warship, the Sirius, hidden within the dense asteroid belt. His sharp eyes scanned the myriad of holographic displays. Years of battles had honed his instincts, making him a paragon of strategy and resilience. "Commander, incoming signal from the outer rim," the communications officer announced, urgency in his voice. Drake stepped forward, his interest piqued. "Source." "It's encrypted with a code we haven't seen in years," the officer replied, hands moving deftly over the controls. "It's Alara, sir. She's alive, but it looks like her cover's blown." The bridge went silent, the weight of the moment pressing down on everyone. Alara, the twin sister of fallen Padawan Liam, had infiltrated the Empire to gather crucial intelligence. Her last known message was months ago, and they had feared the worst. Drake's mind raced. Alara's survival and the information she carried could turn the tide in their struggle against the Empire. "Patch it through," he ordered. The message crackled to life, Alara's voice strained but resolute. "Commander Drake, I've identified key weaknesses in the Empire's defenses, but my cover is blown. They're closing in. I'm sending coordinates. Use the data. For Liam." Drake's jaw tightened. Liam's brutal death at the hands of the Empire had galvanized Earth's resolve, and now Alara's plight demanded immediate action. "We owe them this," he said, more to himself than to the crew. "Prepare for immediate departure. Set course for the coordinates. We launch hit and run attacks as we go." As the warship powered up, the crew moved with synchronized precision. The hum of advanced engines reverberated through the ship, a testament to Earth's hidden technological advancements. Each crew member knew their role, and their collective determination was palpable. Drake called Dr. Kira Matsumoto to the bridge. "Doctor, how ready are our new weapons?" Kira, the brilliant mind behind the warship's advanced armaments, gave a confident nod. "They're ready for deployment, Commander. We've incorporated the latest modifications." "Good," Drake replied. "We'll need every edge we can get." As the Sirius navigated out of the asteroid belt, the tension on the bridge was thick. "Commander, we have an Imperial patrol approaching on intercept course," the sensor officer reported. "All hands, battle stations," Drake commanded. He turned to his tactical officer. "Engage stealth protocols. Let's see if we can slip past them without a fight." The crew executed the maneuvers flawlessly, the warship moving like a phantom through the dark expanse of space. The Imperial ships passed by, oblivious to their presence. "Clear," the tactical officer confirmed, exhaling in relief. Drake knew this was only the beginning. Alara's information had set them on a perilous path, but it was a path they would follow to the end. "Set course for the first target," he ordered. "Let's hit them where it hurts." The Earth's warship, resolute, emerged from the shadows of the asteroid belt, gliding silently towards its first target, an Imperial outpost on the fringe of known space. Inside the sleek, high-tech command center, Commander Ethan Drake's eyes were sharp, his mind calculating every possible outcome. "Stealth mode engaged," reported Lieutenant Sarah Blake, her fingers dancing over the holographic controls. "Excellent," Drake responded, his voice a calm anchor in the sea of tension. "All units, prepare for engagement. This is our first strike. Let's make it count." The crew moved with disciplined precision, each action a testament to their rigorous training. The atmosphere was charged with a mix of apprehension and resolve. They were striking back, and the stakes couldn't be higher. On board the outpost, Imperial officers were oblivious to the danger approaching. They carried on with their routine, unaware that the Resolute had already hacked into their systems, disabling their communications and security measures. "Targets locked," announced Dr. Kira Matsumoto, the brilliant scientist behind the warship's advanced weaponry. "Ready on your command, Commander." Drake took a deep breath. Fire. Beams of focused energy lanced out from the Resolute, hitting the outpost's key installations with pinpoint accuracy. Explosions lit up the dark void, and within moments, the once formidable Imperial outpost was reduced to smoldering wreckage. "Direct hits on all targets," Matsumoto confirmed, a hint of satisfaction in her voice. "No survivors." Drake nodded. "Prepare for immediate withdrawal. We don't stay long enough for retaliation." As the Resolute maneuvered away, the crew allowed themselves a moment of triumph. They had struck a significant blow, but Drake knew better than to let his guard down. "We've made our move, but the Empire will respond," he said, addressing the crew. "Stay vigilant." Meanwhile, on the Imperial Star Destroyer Intrepid, Alara moved through the labyrinthine corridors with the grace of a shadow. She had spent months infiltrating the Empire, her every step a dance with danger. Her heart pounded as she approached a restricted area, the location of critical intel she needed to transmit back to Earth. In the dimly lit room, Alara accessed a terminal, her fingers flying over the keys. Just as she was about to transmit the data, the door hissed open. An Imperial officer stood silhouetted in the doorway, suspicion etched on his face. "What are you doing here?" he demanded. Alara's mind raced. "Routine maintenance check," she replied, her voice steady despite the adrenaline surging through her veins. The officer's eyes narrowed. "I wasn't informed of any maintenance." Before he could react, Alara struck, using her training to incapacitate him swiftly and silently. She finished transmitting the data and slipped back into the shadows, heart racing. She knew her cover was hanging by a thread. Back on the Resolute, Drake received the transmission. The data provided crucial insights into the Empire's movements, but the message also contained a distress signal. Alara's cover was compromised. "Prepare for extraction mission," Drake ordered, his voice steely. "We're going in to get her." The crew's determination was palpable. They had trained for this, and now it was time to act. Commander Ethan Drake stood at the helm, eyes fixed on the holographic display. The fragmented distress signal from Alara flickered before him. Her cover was blown, but her location was clear. "Prepare for a high-risk extraction," he commanded, his voice unwavering. In the warship's strategy room, tension was palpable. Dr. Kira Matsumoto outlined the plan, her face set in determination. "We'll exploit the Star Destroyer's blind spots and use our cloaking technology to get close. A covert team will infiltrate, while the ship provides cover fire if needed." Lieutenant Harris, a seasoned soldier, voiced the unspoken fear. "Commander, what if this is a trap? The Empire might be waiting for us." Drake's gaze was steely. "Alara's intel has been invaluable. We owe her this. We stick to the plan." As the crew prepared, there were murmurs of doubt. The mission was fraught with danger, but failure wasn't an option. The warship navigated through the asteroid belt, its advanced cloaking rendering it invisible to Imperial sensors. Drake monitored their approach, every muscle tense. Entering the target zone, the navigator announced. The Star Destroyer loomed ahead, a menacing giant against the backdrop of stars. Drake's mind raced with tactical calculations. They had one shot at this. The covert team, led by Drake, suited up. Their objective, rescue Alara and escape unnoticed. As they docked with the Star Destroyer, the team moved with practiced efficiency, their steps silent. The corridors were eerily quiet, the hum of the ship the only sound. Drake's earpiece crackled to life. "Commander, it's Alara. I've sabotaged the main reactor. You'll have a 30-minute window before they can repair it." "Understood. We're coming for you," Drake responded, his resolve hardening. They navigated the labyrinthine corridors, guided by Alara's precise directions. Each turn brought them closer, but the risk of discovery grew. Suddenly, an Imperial patrol rounded the corner. "Intruders!" a trooper shouted, raising his blaster. Drake's team reacted instantly, blasters firing in a deadly dance of light. The patrol was neutralized, but the alarm had been raised. "We need to move. Now," Drake barked. They sprinted through the corridors, the sound of alarms echoing around them. As they approached Alara's cell, they found her already at work on the door's control panel. "Hurry," she urged. "Reinforcements are on the way." The door slid open, and Alara joined them, her face set with determination. "The sabotage has bought us time, but we need to get out before they regroup." The team raced back the way they came, blasters ready for any resistance. The ship's corridors seemed to close in, each step echoing the urgency of their mission. As they neared the docking point, more troopers appeared, blocking their path. Drake took command. "Cover fire. Suppress them." The team formed a defensive line, their blasters creating a wall of light. Alara, now armed, joined the fight, her shots precise. "Commander, we're pinned down," Lieutenant Harris shouted over the din of battle. Drake scanned their surroundings, spotting a maintenance hatch. "Through there. It'll lead us to the docking bay." They moved as one, slipping through the hatch and navigating the narrow passage. Emerging near the docking bay, they could see their warship, a beacon of hope. But General Zara's fleet was closing in, their ships forming a blockade. "Commander, we have to go now," Alara urged. The corridor echoed with blaster fire as Commander Ethan Drake led his team through the labyrinthine halls of the Imperial Star Destroyer. Sparks flew and alarms wailed, creating a cacophony of chaos. "Keep moving," Drake shouted, his voice steady despite the urgency. Alara, her face smeared with grime and determination, sprinted beside him. "This way," she yelled, pointing down a dimly lit passage. "It's a shortcut to the hangar." Drake nodded, trusting her insider knowledge. They rounded a corner, only to be met by a squad of stormtroopers. "Take cover," Drake ordered, diving behind a support column. Blaster bolts whizzed past, searing the air with their intensity. Alara peeked around the corner, her heart pounding. She saw an opening. "Cover me," she called out. Without waiting for a response, she darted across the corridor, sliding into position behind a crate. Her blaster spat fire, picking off 2 stormtroopers with pinpoint accuracy. Drake's team followed her lead, laying down suppressing fire. "We're almost there," Drake shouted, his eyes fixed on the door at the end of the hallway. "Push through." With a final coordinated assault, they broke the stormtrooper line and burst into the hangar bay. The sight of their warship, the Resolute, filled them with a surge of hope. "Go, go, go," Drake commanded, ushering his team up the ramp. Alara paused at the control panel, her fingers flying over the keys. "I've locked down the bay doors," she said, breathless but triumphant. "That should buy us some time." Drake clasped her shoulder. "Good work. Let's get out of here." Inside the warship, the crew sprang into action. The engines roared to life, and the ship shuddered as it lifted off. "Prepare for evasive maneuvers," Drake ordered as he strapped into his command chair. "We're not out of the woods yet." As they ascended, the viewport filled with the sight of Imperial cruisers closing in. General Zara's fleet had arrived, blocking their escape. "We've got company," Alara said, her voice tense. Drake's mind raced. "Helm, plot a course for the asteroid field. We'll lose them in the debris." The ship jolted as it took a hit. "Shields holding, but we can't take many more of those," Dr. Kira Matsumoto reported, her hands flying over the controls to reroute power. Drake glanced at Alara. "Any ideas?" Alara's eyes lit up with sudden inspiration. "If we overload the forward deflector, we can create a temporary blind spot in their sensors. It's risky, but it might just work." "Do it," Drake said without hesitation. Alara worked swiftly, her fingers a blur. Initiating overload. Now, the warship surged forward, the overloaded deflector, creating a blinding flash of light. The Imperial cruisers faltered, their sensors momentarily blinded. "Punch it," Drake shouted. The Resolute dove into the asteroid field, weaving through the massive rocks with incredible precision. Behind them, Zara's fleet struggled to keep up, colliding with debris and losing formation. Drake allowed himself a brief smile. We've bought ourselves some time. Let's put some distance between us and them. As the ship sped away, Alara leaned back in her seat, exhaling deeply. We did it, she said, a mix of relief and disbelief in her voice. Drake nodded, his expression resolute. This isn't over, but today we've won. Good work, everyone. The crew cheered, the sound a triumphant contrast to the chaos they had just escaped. In that moment, they knew they had struck a significant blow against the Empire, showcasing Earth's resilience and ingenuity.